We gather here in our BB Society as the English Kli, strengthening our connection every week, 1 week at a time, with all our friends from the English Kli. Thanks to the creator and thanks to all of you for your presence today, for supporting and making this Sunday gathering possible. And thanks to our guest. This is how we build our community, our English Kli. Please invite all the friends, all your tens, share the word around, open your cameras as much as possible. This meeting is very important, and let's be grateful and not take for granted the fact that we can meet every week and share what is going on. First, our opening intention. Please, John Kay, go ahead. Thank you.
Morning, dear friends. Rabash, letter number 65 says here, a person must decide that he wants the Creator to give him a desire to completely annul before him, meaning not leaving any desire under his own authority, but that all his desires in him will be only to give glory to the Creator. L'chaim, friends.
L'chaim. Thank you, John. Friends, we have today our great Arvut team with its update, and for that we have Grisha. Go ahead, Grisha. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Hello, dear friends. Let me change to gallery. Don't want to see myself. Okay. Yeah, always great to be with you on Sunday morning and obviously beyond all the time. And I'm planning to share a few things with you today, and all of them, one way or another, relates to our next step, which is next Congress in 3 months. You know, we'll have next Congress, October 9, 10, 11, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know, you already should book those days, you know, on your family, from your family plans and at your work if you need to do that. But most important, the most important, please book those days in your heart. This is going to be our next step. And we never ever have this Congress because it focused not on emphasis in this Congress, not for the 10, for our 10s, but the main focus on the friends and local community. The main focus to strengthen local communities. It's local, we call that whatever, local Congress. Like in May, we never ever had, you know, regional Congress to strengthen regional community, North American Kli for us. This time is local Congress. And we finally, I think, you know, everyone need to understand this concept because, you know, a few days ago, I heard the question, who is flying to Israel? Friends, nobody flying to Israel. Nobody flying from East Coast to West Coast, from West Coast to East Coast, whatever. Nobody having long distance drives through the country or even half the country or quarter of the country. It's for strengthening local communities. We'll talk more and more about that, but ideally it's to have like 15 plus friends in this Congress. If exception obviously possible, if you are the only one or a couple friends in your location, you could drive a little bit more. We'll talk about that more. But big favor for all of you who is here, for everyone, please come to your next Zoom meeting with your 10 and explain that this is local Congress, that finally everyone would understand, you know, that we need to strengthen our local communities. The most popular question before the Congress, question to Rav, question to everyone, how to prepare for the Congress. And we have two main aspects of this Congress. And obviously we need to prepare, you know, for each of them. Number one is, you know, that the whole idea, like I mentioned, is strengthening local communities, means that we will have a physical gatherings. And if you remember, but I'll remind you that at the beginning of this year, Moshe Sunilevich shared with us 10 directions for this year. And number one was like having a new spiritual, management, those 6 great friends. And number two, periodical physical gatherings. So physical gathering is like second from the top in our priorities. We know that in some areas when we have more friends, like New York, Florida, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Salt Lake City, they're already meeting periodically. Some of them weekly basis, some of them even, more often. Other areas less often, but this is the trend. And to prepare for this Congress, the more we'll meet, physically, the better. We prepare, our hearts for this. And a good occasion to prepare, for the Congress in this sense is Unity Day. Unity Day is scheduled in a month from now, August 10. So especially for those areas that not meeting periodically, they could maybe start thinking how to meet. It's Sunday, August 10, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It is called Weaving a Garment of Love, Unity Evening for Tu B'Av. This is like Jewish holiday. This is one aspect, big aspect of the Congress, strengthening local communities. And the next thing, which is very, very, very important to mention, and how to prepare for the Congress, is the topic of the Congress. The topic of the Congress is in one prayer. And we know that every single action needs to be completed with the prayer. We talk a lot about them. Yesterday, the first 30 minutes of the lesson was, all about that. And Rao mentioned strive for prayer as much together as possible, as much for others as possible. So if we definitely put more efforts for the prayer, in the 10, with the North America Kli, by the way, hope everyone knows, but every single day except Friday, we'll have a prayer with North America Kli. 5 minutes after the lesson, during 15 minutes, great friends reading the prayer. And that's also the way to prepare for the Congress. And what else, friends? And then last but not least thing is we need your feedback. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please write to arvutteam@gmail.com. And specifically for this meeting, this is our only gathering with North America Kli, except this prayer after the lesson. But please, if you have any suggestions, comments, what to improve, please write to Arvut Team, 1T in the middle, @gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grisha. Thank you, friends. We are reaching almost 100 friends today. This is amazing. Thanks to all of you for sharing the work and calling your tens. Okay, everyone. Today we are honored to welcome our guests for this Sunday gathering. We have a giant friend with many talents. He teaches, he creates Kabbalah content for all of us and for the public in general. He sings, he plays music. His name is Gianni Conti. Gianni is not only one of our teachers, the Kabbalah environment, he's involved in very important projects in dissemination, and he's going to talk more about that. I just want to mention that his dedication, he shares the path of connection and love of others with depth and clarity and open heart. Thank you very much, Gianni, for sharing with us. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
All right. Hi, friends. I don't think I'm all that talented and special like that. I think that, first of all, I'm a little embarrassed even. They asked me to come and talk about my videos, and, Grisha said, I don't want to look at myself. He wanted to go into gallery mode. Well, creating videos is looking at yourself for hours and hours and hours. And to edit these videos, and I think actually Okay, can I share my screen? Because I think everybody's seen the videos, you know, but yeah, you know, this is our YouTube channel. These are kind of the videos they're talking about. Um, I think that creating videos would be the perfect job, dissemination job, if it wasn't you looking at your face all the time. Because it's a lot of work. It's a ton of work. It seems kind of great to like see it presented in completed form, but these videos, these courses, they take like an eternity. Like this course, The Blueprint of Creation, it basically took an entire summer, and I had to rearrange my whole house. I had, for acoustical purposes, I had all of the living room furniture stuffed into one bedroom. I relocated the family into other rooms, you know, kicked them out of the bedroom. And then everybody had to be quiet, like for hours on end. I had little kids. I had to buy like a bunch of equipment. And, you know, it was a lot of work. And here's another one, Emergent Universe, that so this one came actually from just a video that I created that was like 30 minutes long, and Asaf was like, hey, we should actually turn this into a full course. um so uh you know, let's see, what do I want to say? First of all, I want to stop sharing my screen. um What I want to say is that I am grateful for the opportunity to do any kind of dissemination, and I don't think it's um, important that it's a video or that it's teaching. And by the way, I never thought I would be a person who's teaching and talking. I don't like to talk. I don't like to be front and center. I don't like to be on the stage. But I was looking for a role, like for a way to serve society. And I wanna say that I wasn't like, they didn't handpick me and say like, "You must teach," or something like that. I started in the background of like doing Tony broadcasts or something like that, and I was just clicking around doing like a role that nobody knew about. You know, there was like no recognition. My face wasn't there. I was behind the scenes. And 1 year after a congress, they invited a bunch of friends to come and learn how to vlog. That's how all the videos started. And, you know, I just saw it because it was presented this way by Asaf and Gilad. It was presented as the most important thing that we could be doing to help B'nai Baruch at that time. This vlogging project. It was a different era of YouTube when it was just vloggers. You know, now it's more podcasts and stuff like that. But at that time, it was presented as the most important thing I could do to serve Rav's message, serve B'nai Baruch, serve our society. So I took it really seriously. I, you know, I'm not recommending anybody do this, but I went and spent like $4,000, you know, buying like equipment, whatever I needed to do. You know, as I said, I rearranged the house for acoustical purposes to create these vlogs. And because I invested all that into this, not knowing where it would go, if these would even be presented on our YouTube channel at all, because I had already invested that and I was already showing that I could create something and would invest the time. Because really, it's less talent and a lot more just hard work that's required for this, and a ton of time and investment. So because I was already doing that and I already invested all that, you know, Asaf was like, hey, like you should maybe create a course. Like, so that's kind of how it emerged. So I guess what I want to say is like I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to do anything for society. And I know for a fact, I have personal inside information that there are important jobs in our society that we don't have enough friends to do them. And there are other jobs that like friends are doing way too many different jobs, like they're overloaded, like they have a lot of work. And I know this third piece of information, which is that every friend needs a dissemination role. So we need to somehow try to balance these things out. The fact that there's a lot of work to be done, the fact that there are friends that don't have a dissemination role, and the fact that I can't imagine being on this path or how long it would take to advance through the states that we all go through the ascents and descents, if I didn't have a role in dissemination. You know, a good example is like John, for example. He does an amazing job on this. It's a weekly role. He's required to do it. Grisha with the Arvut team. And I bet you that nobody is fighting Grisha for this role. Nobody is trying to beat him up and take this role away from him. It's a role, and it takes dedication, and you have to put yourself in a state that is, in order to talk to the friends, even, you have to get yourself into a state that is representative of our spiritual path every time you do it. And so it's very valuable. And so I don't think it matters if you're making videos like I do, or if you're, you know, on the Arvut team, or if you're hosting like John does, or if you're clicking buttons behind the scenes. There are people who edit videos, right? And that takes a lot of effort. Like I said, that's the hardest part about making these videos. To appear and, you know, talk, that's the easy part. The hard part is the behind the scenes toiling, clicking in Adobe Premiere. And now that I mentioned that, I want to say that I also had no skills in that when I started this out. I didn't know what is Adobe Premiere. And it's a professional program that, you know, I had to learn how to use. And there's a whole bunch of stuff: lighting, setting up the camera, acoustics, you know, framing your shot, you know, so that it looks good. All these things I didn't know anything about. But you know, and why I'm saying this is because there's a lot of roles in our society that could seem like a little daunting and overwhelming in the beginning. Yes, there's like a learning curve, but after you make that initial investment, you get something that's invaluable on our path, which is something that ties you, that forces you to do something for the creator, for bestowal. We should all be trying to beat up Grisha for his job, you know, beat up John for his job. We should be racing for these opportunities for bestowal. We should be competing. So I think, is that my time? When they told me I have 15 minutes, I didn't know how I'm gonna fill that up. But if you have any questions, I can try to answer. But that's basically what I want to say. I want to say thank you for the opportunity to serve the society. And there are lots of available roles, and everybody should have one. And nothing secretly saddens me more than thinking that there's a friend on this path that doesn't have some role in dissemination. Because, you know, when we're in that state like the Baal Shem Tov, where, you know, he doesn't remember the alphabet even, and he has a student come and tell him the alphabet, you know, that's what dissemination is. It ties us back to the path. It reawakens to us to spiritual thoughts, spiritual ideas, and equivalence with the creator. So, Baham, guys.
Thank you, Gianni. I just want to read some message from Mario. Thank you, Gianni, for all the work that you do, for being a great instructor, content producer, and disseminator of the study and the wisdom. This is Mario. Thank you, Gianni. Thank you very much. You still have a little bit more of time. I just wanted to ask you one quick question just to finish. How do you think this work help you feel more connected with the friends and with the society? Because as one phrase from Rab that says, I learn more from my students than from the studying the wisdom. So in your case, how does dissemination help you be more connected and Would you already advise to the friends, but would you advise to other friends to get involved in dissemination? Go ahead, please.
I think too the fact that like my face is there and it's just so egoistic in that respect is a little bit confusing. I think that ideally it would be like 5 friends there, you know, talking about the path together. And maybe even not your face there. You know, it would be like much better to just somehow be behind the scenes. And that's why I think those are really the best roles, the ones that are together and the ones that are as far behind the scenes as possible. That's my idea of a really good dissemination project. Because what you said, John, is the most important thing, that this dissemination, I feel that I can't do it without the friends. And I would say, you know, to answer even more directly, every time I do any teaching type of role, I want to connect with my friends first. I feel that it's completely useless, a waste, just flush it down the toilet if you're not first connected to your friends, to the Rav, to the society. You feel yourself as this tiny dot. And just because you want to pass on the spirit of that connection that you have in the 10 with the friends, just to pass on that taste of connection, then you have something to say. Then you can open your mouth. And the great thing about having a consistent role, whether it's teaching or it's editing a video or clicking a button, I don't know. That's all we really do now in dissemination. It's all in the computer. It's just click, 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 click. But every time it ties you back to the connection, because you have to think, why am I doing this?
Okay, Gianni, thank you very much. There's a phrase that says that the good does not make any noise, and the noise does not make any good. And I just want to say that, you know, you are the face of many friends working with you behind the scenes. And in that sense, we want to thank you, but we want to thank all the friends that work with you, editing, making sure the sound is good, writing the content, because we know this is not just one person's job. It's a team effort. But we are very grateful with you and with all the friends that work with you to create these beautiful videos, interesting and very, very helpful for all of us and for the people who are involved, and start with the wisdom of Kabbalah and become part of our society. Thank you very much, Gianni. Let's give a hug and a kiss to Gianni, all of us friends. Thank you very much. We are seeing in the screen view right now. Thank you, Gianni. Okay, friends, we have now our new segment, and this is very important. As we said that we are gifted with this segment from the Arvut team, strengthening the tens. This is a special opportunity. And today the subject is rising above differences in opinion, rising above the difference in opinion in our work and in our 10. For that, we have Vlad, Grisha, and Haim. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Yes, hello to our beloved friends. Thank you so much, John, Gianni, Grisha, and everyone who's involved. Yes, indeed. Today, the topic is rising above the differences in opinion. Let's read a little excerpt from Zohar before we switch to Chaim, who will present the topic to you. So the Zohar says, there is a special quality in each contradiction, revealing a special degree in attaining Him. And those worthy ones who have been rewarded with it turn darkness into light and bitter into sweet. For all the powers of separation from the darkness of the mind and the bitterness of the body have become to them gates for obtaining sublime degrees. Thus the darkness becomes a great light, and the bitter becomes sweet. Hence, to the extent that they previously had all the conducts of his guidance toward the forces of separation, now they have all been inverted into forces of unification and sentenced the entire world to the side of merit. Beloved Chaim, please take it from here.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Can we hear it again?
Oh, yes. Again from Zohar. There is a special quality in each contradiction, revealing a special degree in attaining Him. And those worthy ones who have been rewarded with it turn darkness into light and bitter into sweet. For all the powers of separation from the darkness of the mind and the bitterness of the body have become to them gates for obtainment of sublime degrees. Thus, the darkness becomes a great light, and the bitter becomes sweet. Hence, to the extent that they previously had all the conducts of his guidance toward the forces of separation, now they have all been inverted into forces of unification and sentenced the entire world to the side of merit.
Thanks, Vlad. Nothing is more difficult than turning someone whom you hate at the moment into such a dear friend that you love him as much as you hated him a second ago, and that you feel dependent on him, that your spirituality depends on how you feel about that friend who a minute ago was your enemy. In the Zohar, it's written that the friends wanted to kill each other at first, and then they turned it into love. And because of that, there will be peace in the world. That's our work. We all know how differences of opinion in the 10 can seem sharper than knives, can hurt like nothing else hurts. But we have been chosen to feel this. People who don't go on this path, they don't experience like things like that. They love, they hate, they move away from people they hate, they move toward people they like until they dislike them and then move away. They have no obligations. We are the only ones who have an obligation to turn those we hate, and those we hate are the people who are the closest to us because we are with them all the time. But we have the obligation to turn that feeling into love. And it's not for us. Why do we have the obligation? Because, excuse me for saying, using lofty words, because if we don't, there will not be peace in the world. These words in the Zohar were written about us, students, at much higher levels, obviously, but that's where we're going. And right now, we're the closest thing there is on earth to those people, to Rabbi Shimon's disciples. So whatever they went through was written about us in our future states, but also to some minimal degree to our present state. So rising above differences of opinion is not some mode, it's not a conflict resolution technique. It's how we advance on the spiritual path. It's mandatory. If you don't do that, you're out. Sooner or later, you're out. No one can last while being in conflict with the friends. The 10 simply ejects you. Maybe not even verbally, maybe not even by their own actions, but the disparity of form between you and the friends simply kicks you out. So it is the most important thing for us. And it also has to do with maintaining a warm environment. Remember, we talked about it last week? That's exactly it. That you have to do it not only internally, but you also have to show it. And sometimes you simply have to act it out because it's the complete opposite of how you feel. That's exactly our path. This is what we've been chosen for. This is the battle against the ego. The other wars, all the wars that people fight, they fight with their ego's full support. We're the only ones who are trying to overcome something that's by definition insurmountable. And yet we keep trying. And that's how we learn to pray. So rising above differences of opinion means that how do you guys suggest we do it? What's the first and most important thing in order to be able to rise above differences of opinion? Come on, from your own experience, just open the mic and talk.
Acknowledging that it's the creator helping us.
Acknowledging that it's the creator.
It's
That he's helping us, or that he did it. Dre.
That he did it.
Okay. Yeah. More?
Well, I only want to connect with Nikodash Balef with of my friends, and that's the most important point. So I will rise above everything else, and I will only want to connect with that point. So I will try to do that, and everything else I will put aside. It's hard to do, but that's what we're trying to do. That's our work.
Yeah, so you're basically saying, okay, well, I can't stand this person, but he has a point in the heart. So I'll just kind of ignore the things that I don't like. And that way I don't have to hate him because I'm ignoring, sweeping under the rug all the things I don't like. So I don't have to hate him. And then I can connect to his point in the heart. But that's avoiding, that's running away from the work. Hatred's going to find you anyway.
No, not ignoring it. I'm acknowledging it, but that's in me. That's a reflection of me. So I'm gonna work with it, and I will reflect on it within myself. That's my work. Like my friend is already like behind each friend is the creator behind my friend. So my
that's
friend.
What's written. Yes, that's what's written.
So I have to learn to feel it. So if I have to find a way to feel it. And if I don't, then I have to pray. So that's my inner work. I have to try and rise above it. So that's our work. Like sometimes I don't feel it, and I know I don't. So I know we have to work with it. So that's how we can rise.
Okay.
That's
okay,
our
good.
work. So
Thanks. Okay. More. I just don't want to, take up the whole time.
You have to acknowledge that this is something that you can't do. That only the creator, through the support of your 10, the connection in your 10, can a change like this be done. Lois?
Okay, more?
Yes, I'm not me. I'm us. And us, just look at the screen. All of the characters, all of the souls that we see in the screen is me. What I am fighting for. It's like autoimmune disease. I'm fighting against myself. So I have to convince myself that I totally depends on my friends and my friends depends on me.
Maybe an easier technique is to start with the friends, start connecting more with the friends that I'm closer to in the 10 and try and build more warmth there. And then I don't have to attack it so head on. If there's more of a warm spirit, then everyone becomes more happy in there. It could be easy, it could be, I might be able to see some opportunity, or we may be able to see some opportunity to connect.
Mm-hmm. Now that I'm looking at Seth, I know where he's sitting because he was having us at his home for the Congress. So I saw the room where he's sitting now. So, well, first of all, yes, there is no right or wrong answer. So all your answers are correct. Why was I asking for opinions? Because each of us has his own way, and any way we can find to rise above differences is good. And the most important thing is, I think what Dri mentioned in the beginning, to remember who gave this to us and why. Because the Creator made us different. We didn't choose to be different. The Creator made us different. And then the Creator put us in a 10 with different people. And the more we advance and the more our coarseness increases, the more difficult for us it becomes to be patient, to be tolerant to each other. And at the same time, the more we realize that we have to rise above it. So we get strength from both ways, from the coarseness and from the understanding that it's necessary to maintain a good atmosphere. Okay? So in the 10, there are all kinds of situations. Now I'm taking it back to our world and to our daily lives. There are all kinds of situations. And while I'm speaking, please, if you have questions from last week or that you want to ask right now, please think about them and, I don't know, switch on the hand or something, or just open the mic. Now, to put it down to practical terms, we have our daily lesson. We have our daily Zoom meetings. We have discussions. We have decisions to make. Whether or not we want to go to a physical Congress, well, I don't know. In my 10, it's not a question, but I know that there are 10s where it is a question. How should we organize our meetings? What's the lineup? What is the role of the shots and gabbai, you know, the connection, the duty, connection duty? Anything, basically. How much should we be chatting on our WhatsApp chats, right? Should we have a separate chat for chatting and a separate chat for the goal, or should they be combined? Should we have a chat for chatting at all? What do you talk about with the friends and what do you not talk about? Anything is reason, is grounds for conflict. The minute you communicate with another person, whether I like it or not, and no matter how much you tell yourself that he has a great point in heart, I see him in the lesson every morning, he pays mass, he does this, he does that, but he said something in the wrong way that rubs me, you know, in the wrong way, and or he offended me, or he said something, I don't know, Chaim, why do you look so tired today when I feel like this? And he suddenly says that I look tired, I want to kill him. And if possible, painfully. So, wait, I was enjoying my thought. So we have these moments all the time. Every one of us. No one's a saint. Don't worry, no one's a saint. And yet, nothing is more important than rising above it. So we fall into these pits all the time. The trick is to come out of it. Always come out of it. Because over time we learn that as much as I hate that person right now, a few hours later, sometimes a few days later, sometimes a few weeks later, but at some point it passes. And by the way, with physical gatherings, it passes much more quickly because the interaction is more intense, and therefore the states change more quickly. But it's very important, and that's the point I want to get across today. It's very important that when we fall into these pits, we keep in mind that we must not quit, and that we keep going, keep participating in the activities, because sometimes, even if you didn't speak to that friend at all, you didn't make up, you didn't do anything, just being together, studying together, reading together, doing a Zoom meeting together, draws light on both of you, and somehow the light fixes it. The Creator made it, the Creator fixes it. Okay? So even if you didn't work on it, but you just kept going, it will pass. Guaranteed. Okay? The memory will stay there, probably, for the most part. But the situation will pass, and it will become another stepping stone on your way up. So it's very important to keep that in mind and just keep going. Persistence. This is why Rav keeps on saying, whenever someone asks him, what's the way, what's the trick, he goes, patience. And that's why Bala Sulam writes, only those who were patient, remember item 155 in the introduction to the study of the 10 Sfirot, only those who were patient were rewarded. And what does Rav say? Just keep going. That's all he says. He doesn't give you any tricks. Nothing in the hat. Just keep going. But it is a trick, because it's hard to keep going. But if you do, the light fixes it. The same light that caused it fixes it. So that's very important. Now, questions, if there are.
Go ahead, Nika. Go ahead. Thank you.
Well, in our 10, we had a few experiences like that, and being a virtual group, they often come up when we need to fulfill some kind of task related to society, or there's a request to, make a video or some kind of project that requires extra efforts beyond our routine work. So since we know the recipe, kind of understand that we want to adhere to the framework and continue being exposed to the reforming light as much as possible, maybe there is some, method to making it work in a, systematic way.
I don't know. Over time, each 10 finds its own way to work, so to speak. I know in my 10, We tried many things, but in the end, we realized that each friend has his own character, and it's actually pointless to tell a friend off when he does something you don't like. When you try to force or bring in some new new order into the 10, and friends don't like it, it's very hard to force it. So there's no method. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's not that important. What is important is that you guys keep going and keep going together and maintain that warm atmosphere, because you'll need it when the coarseness grows. So if a new dissemination project came along and not everyone joined the bandwagon and started contributing, with all their hearts, it's because that's who they are. That's how much they can invest. You can't get into their daily schedule and start judging them. It's not going to work. It's unfair to them. It puts you in a bad spot, because you become, you start feeling superior, and that's the worst thing you want to feel. That's the worst place you want to be in, feeling superior to your friends, because then you're not advancing. You're going back. You're retreating. Okay, so you suggest it to the friends. If it takes root, if people like it and they're willing to take it, great. If not, then okay, it's not for us right now. We'll try something else next time. Let's move on. As long as we are in the lessons and we are doing our meetings, we're continuing our routine. Okay? Don't push the friends beyond their limits, because that breaks the tense. Yeah, Genya.
Thank you. If sometimes you have like thoughts about your friends, like for example, what if I would have like better friends? Like what if creator would send me like better friends to work with? How to overcome thoughts like this and to
You
rise
mean
above
within the
them?
10?
Yeah, within the 10. Like
So
you
with
sometimes
some
start
friends,
imagining, what if I would have better friends? We would advance faster. What if, like,
yeah,
how
with
to
some friends you
overcome
feel
this thought?
closer, and with some friends you feel not as close. Right? So I could be sitting here and telling you, no, that's the wrong approach. You have to treat everyone equally. Everyone is equal in the 10, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't work. It simply doesn't work, because we are who we are and we feel what we feel. And on our present level, I even saw Rav saying that with some people, he cannot work. It's not like he doesn't appreciate them. They're his students, dedicated students, very serious. But he said, I can't work with him. So he said to Mushi, you get along with him? Mushi said, yes. Okay, so you work with him. It's not like Rav doesn't appreciate him or doesn't want him to advance. It just doesn't get along. So we are different people, and we communicate better with some people and not so well with other people. And it's all okay. And as long as we haven't crossed the barrier, and we are still under the rule of our ego, we also feel closer spiritually, although it's not real spirituality, but never mind, we feel that way. We feel closer spiritually, or at least at heart, to those that we feel more comfortable with. You cannot fight it. So don't try to. What you should do is keep working in the 10, keep being together, all of you, those you like and those you like less, and the reforming light will reform you. Let it do the work. You can pray for it, absolutely. But nothing else will change you besides the light. And that takes time and dedication and the intensity of prayer. Yofi. We're beyond the time, but I hope.
I think we still have time for one more
Yeah?
question. Maxi, yes, we can
Great.
go over until 11:40. We don't have nothing in the Arvut Team
Wonderful.
system. Thank you. Go ahead, Maxi.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Chaim. Hi, friends. I'll try to make it quick. Is it worth it to apologize? You mentioned that things get resolved inside, or inside the 10, things get resolved, the creator resolves them. It feels to me that apologizing is just dwelling on this thing, and it's also something that comes from the ego. I want my friends to have a better opinion of me. Do we apologize for things that happen in the 10, or do we just move on? And, you know, because we all know where this is coming from.
Yeah, that's a difficult one, actually. Rav said that Kabbalists don't apologize because the minute a state is over, it's over. You're in the next state. At the same time, I did hear him say sorry several times. Now, in other cases, he never said anything, although he was wrongfully angry at someone, you know, thinking he did something wrong, and it turns out that it wasn't him who did it or something like that, you know. He didn't apologize for that. He just went on, okay, so it's not you, and then just continued after beating the hell out of the guy. So I don't know why he chose to act this way at that time and that way at another time. In general, Kabbalists always choose the attitude of moving on and not dwelling on things, okay? Especially not on conflicts. But if you feel that apologizing can bring you and the friends' hearts, yours and the friends' hearts, closer together, it's worth the effort. I'm not saying it'll always work. But you want to aspire to become as close as you can to your friends. And sometimes apologies can do that. You certainly don't need to, you know, go on about it on and on and on. I'm so sorry, I'm so, yeah, etc. But sometimes a short, sincere apology can go a long way in mending relationships. Especially that friend too knows where it came from, but that will help him remember it when you apologize. Because otherwise he's so, you know, deep into his own offended emotions that he won't be able to think about it. And that might help him think about it. So it might be a good thing. But again, don't make it too long and too, you know. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chaim.
All right. Yes. So next week we'll let you know what the topic is. Again, if you have questions, please prepare them in advance or send them to the Arvut team. And in general, we'd like to get feedback on this section, this new section, because we haven't heard much from you guys. And I want to know if this is helpful. If you'd like something else that will be more helpful, let us know. Okay?
How do we get this feedback get to you?
To the Arvut team, or to me personally, if you have my mail, my phone number, or to the Arvut team, or anyone in the Arvut team, or to the mail, whatever.
Okay, Arvut team email.
Yeah.
Wow, friends, thank you very much for this truly special gathering. What a gift we just had today. An advanced class about connecting and overcoming obstacles in the work with our tens. Thanks to every friend who participated today. We have 115 friends at one point connected there. Friends, that's amazing. Thanks to our guests, Gianni, to the Arvut team, Vlad, Haim, Grisha. I'm sure and I'm positive that we are building something real over here, our English Kli and North American society. One meeting, one connection, one heartbeat at a time. Remember, friend, connection is a fire, and today we felt it's warm. It's a flame that we have to keep alive every week, connecting. Thank you for connecting today. We just need a song. We just had the fuel for the week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, friends. Ella, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Somewhere in the still of the night, a whisper of love awakens inside. Somewhere in the dark there's a flame, a light in our hearts, guiding us through the pain. Years of chasing after the wind, but the treasures of life are hidden within. The answer will come down from above, piecing all of the world in one vision of love. And from our hearts we sing one song, all voices as one in the rhythm of love. And from our hearts we sing one song, all voices as one in the rhythm of love. Melody rises with the sun, from the silence it came and calls everyone. The night is here, we stand with one voice, a time to give thanks, a time to rejoice. Everything is clear to see, and the walls are no more between them and me. Together in this ocean of love, in the depths of the heart, united as one. From our hearts we sing one song, all voices as one, in the rhythm of love. And from our hearts we sing one song, all voices as one, in the rhythm of love. From our hearts we sing one song, all voices as one, in the rhythm of love. And from our hearts we sing one song, all voices as one, in the rhythm of love.
Lahaim, great friends. Thank you very much. Have a nice week.
Bye.
Hi, friends.
Time.